Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into one of the most influential books ever written about mythology, storytelling, psychology, and human transformation, The Hero with a Thousand Faces by Joseph Campbell. This remarkable work explores a powerful idea that across all cultures, across all time periods, humanity has been telling the same fundamental story. The story of the hero's journey. Whether we look at ancient myths, religious traditions, modern films, or personal transformation stories, we find a similar pattern repeating again and again. Campbell called this pattern the Monomyth, or what we now widely refer to as the hero's journey. But this book is not simply about storytelling, it is about something much deeper. The Hero with a Thousand Faces is considered one of the most important works ever written about mythology because it reveals a hidden structure underlying countless myths and stories across the world. Campbell studied traditions from ancient Greece, India, Egypt, Africa, Native American cultures, Buddhism, Christianity, and many more. What he discovered was extraordinary. Despite their differences, these traditions all shared the same basic narrative pattern. This pattern reflects something universal within the human psyche. Campbell drew inspiration from the psychological ideas of Carl Jung, particularly the concept of archetypes and the collective unconscious. According to Jung, human beings share deep symbolic patterns that emerge naturally in dreams, myths, and stories. Campbell's work connects mythology with psychology, anthropology, religion, philosophy, and even modern storytelling. Today, the hero's journey is used not only by scholars but also by filmmakers, writers, psychologists, and educators. Many of the most famous films in modern history, from Star Wars to The Matrix and The Lord of the Rings, follow the structure Campbell described. But beyond storytelling, the hero's journey can also be understood as a metaphor for personal transformation. It represents the process through which individuals leave the familiar world, face challenges, discover deeper truths, and return transformed. In other words, the hero's journey is not just about mythical characters. It is about us. Campbell divided the hero's journey into three main phases. 1. Departure. 2. Initiation. 3. Return. Within these phases, he identified a series of stages that appear repeatedly in myths around the world. Let us explore this journey step by step. 1. The ordinary world. Every hero begins in a familiar environment, an ordinary world. This is the place where life feels stable and predictable. The hero may not yet realize that something greater awaits. In many myths and stories, the hero starts as an ordinary person living a simple life. This beginning stage is important because it creates contrast. Only by leaving the familiar world can the hero grow and transform. 2. The call to adventure. At some point, something disrupts the hero's normal life. This is known as the call to adventure. The call may appear in many forms: a mysterious message, a crisis, an opportunity, or a challenge that cannot be ignored. In myths, the call often comes from an external force, a messenger, a prophecy, or a supernatural event. Psychologically speaking, the call represents the moment when life invites us to grow beyond our current identity. 3. Refusal of the call. Interestingly, many heroes initially refuse the call. Fear, doubt, and uncertainty arise. The hero may feel unprepared or unwilling to leave the safety of the known world. This hesitation reflects a universal human reaction. Change can be intimidating. Yet the refusal rarely lasts forever. Eventually, circumstances push the hero forward. 4. Meeting the mentor. Before entering the unknown world, the hero often encounters a mentor or guide. This figure may offer wisdom, training, protection, or symbolic tools that will help the hero on the journey. Mentors appear in countless forms across mythology: wise elders, spiritual teachers, magical helpers, or experienced warriors. The mentor's role is not to complete the journey for the hero, but to prepare them for what lies ahead. 5. Crossing the threshold. This moment marks a decisive turning point. The hero leaves the familiar world and enters the unknown. Symbolically, this step represents the moment when a person commits fully to transformation. Once the threshold is crossed, there is no easy return. The hero must move forward. 6. Tests, allies, and enemies. After entering the new world, the hero encounters a series of trials. These tests serve an important purpose. They shape the hero's character. Along the way, the hero may gain allies, friends who provide support, and encounter enemies who represent obstacles or opposing forces. In mythological terms, these trials often involve monsters, riddles, battles, or difficult tasks. In psychological terms, they represent inner challenges such as fear, doubt, temptation, and self-discovery. 7. Approach to the Inmost cave. As the journey continues, the hero approaches the central challenge. Campbell called this stage the Inmost cave. This is where the greatest danger lies. It may represent a physical location in the story, but symbolically it represents the deepest confrontation with the unknown. The hero prepares mentally and emotionally for what is about to happen. This stage often involves reflection, planning, and gathering courage. 8. The Ordeal. At the center of the hero's journey lies the ordeal. This is the moment of greatest challenge, the point where the hero must face death, defeat, or total failure. In many myths, the hero literally faces death before emerging transformed. The ordeal represents the symbolic death of the old self. By confronting this ultimate challenge, the hero gains new strength and insight. 9. The reward. After surviving the ordeal, the hero obtains a reward. This reward may appear as treasure, knowledge, power, or spiritual insight. But more importantly, it represents transformation. The hero is no longer the same person who began the journey. Something fundamental has changed. 10. The road back. After obtaining the reward, the hero must return to the ordinary world. However, the journey is not yet complete. Returning can be difficult. Sometimes the hero is pursued by enemies or must overcome additional obstacles. The road back symbolizes the challenge of integrating new knowledge into everyday life. 11. The resurrection. Near the end of the journey, the hero faces a final test. Campbell called this stage the resurrection. This is the ultimate moment of transformation. The hero demonstrates that the lessons of the journey have been fully integrated. The old self has truly died, and a new self has emerged. 12. The return with the boon. Finally, the hero returns home. But the hero does not return empty-handed. He brings back a boon, a gift that benefits the community. This gift may be knowledge, healing, wisdom, or some form of transformation that improves the world. The journey comes full circle. What began as a personal quest becomes a contribution to others. One of the reasons Campbell's work remains so powerful is that it reveals how myths reflect the inner development of the human mind. The hero's journey is not simply an external adventure. It mirrors the psychological process of growth. Every stage of the journey corresponds to challenges we encounter in life, leaving comfort zones, confronting fears, discovering purpose, and integrating new understanding. From this perspective, myths function as symbolic maps of human transformation. They guide individuals through the difficult process of becoming who they are meant to be. Campbell believed that mythology serves an essential role in human culture because it helps people navigate the mysteries of life. Myths provide meaning, structure, and inspiration. They remind us that struggle and transformation are natural parts of the human experience. The influence of the hero with 1,000 faces extends far beyond academic mythology. Modern storytelling owes a great deal to Campbell's ideas. Filmmakers, novelists, and screenwriters often structure their narratives around the hero's journey. George Lucas famously studied Campbell's work while creating Star Wars, intentionally shaping the story around the monomyth structure. But the impact goes even further. Today, the hero's journey is used in psychology, leadership training, education, and personal development programs. It has become a framework for understanding the challenges people face when pursuing growth and transformation. The idea that individuals must leave their comfort zone, face trials, and return transformed resonates deeply with many people. It captures something fundamental about the human experience. Perhaps the most powerful insight from Campbell's work is that each of us can view our lives as a hero's journey. At different points in life, we encounter calls to adventure. We face decisions that require courage. We struggle with obstacles that force us to grow. Sometimes we must let go of old identities in order to become something new. When we see our lives through the lens of the hero's journey, challenges take on a new meaning. They are no longer merely problems to avoid. They become opportunities for transformation. Campbell famously encouraged people to follow your bliss, a phrase that reflects the idea that personal fulfillment often requires stepping into the unknown and pursuing what truly inspires us. The hero's journey reminds us that growth requires risk, effort, and perseverance. But it also promises that transformation is possible. The Hero with 1,000 Faces remains one of the most influential books of the 20th century because it reveals a profound truth. Across cultures, across centuries, humanity has been telling the same story. The story of the hero. The story of leaving the familiar world, confronting the unknown, discovering deeper wisdom, and returning transformed. This universal pattern reflects the shared psychological structure of the human experience. It explains why myths continue to inspire us, why stories resonate so deeply, and why the idea of the hero's journey still feels meaningful today. Campbell's work reminds us that the hero is not just a character in ancient myths. The hero is a symbol of the human spirit. And in many ways, each of us is walking our own version of that journey. Thank you so much for listening and for being part of this growing community of readers, thinkers, and lifelong learners. To everyone who has been supporting the channel, leaving thoughtful comments, and sharing these videos with others, your support truly means a lot. And if you are new here and you enjoy deep explorations of influential books, philosophy, psychology, and timeless ideas that shape how we understand ourselves and the world, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel grow and allows us to continue bringing more insightful book summaries and ideas to you. Thank you again for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.